We've got more now on the trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin and why the odds may be in his favor in court as he's tried for the murder of George Floyd. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Patrick Nolan.
And I'm Jane Monreal. As Usha Qureshi reports, statistically, it's rare for officers and former officers to be convicted, even in the face of potentially damning video evidence.
Derek Chauvin is charged with second-degree murder, second-degree manslaughter, and third-degree murder. This after he was caught on camera in May kneeling on George Floyd's neck for almost 9 minutes.
I think anyone who watches this video and has an even sort of a cursory familiarity with what happened here, I think would have to conclude that this was egregious, unconscionable, and unlawful misconduct.
In the years following the 2014 killing of unarmed teen Michael Brown by Ferguson police officer Darren Wilson, the calls for accountability have grown stronger. Yet it's extremely rare for police officers to face serious legal consequences for using excessive force or even for killing civilians.
It takes a lot of political will to bring prosecutions against members of law enforcement in the first place. And in general, prosecutors are very reluctant to do that.
The Supreme Court also gives police officers a great deal of leeway in their use of force, saying that it must be judged from the perspective of a reasonable officer on the scene, rather than with the 20/20 vision of hindsight.
It's one of objective reasonableness. So if their subjective belief is that there was a threat because they're afraid of black men, that's not objectively reasonable.
In Kenosha this past September, protests and riots broke out after police officer Rustin Shesky fired 7 shots into Jacob Blake's back, paralyzing him. No charges were filed.
Many police officers have a fear of black men and black boys, and that is what's driving a lot of what we see.
The 2014 fatal shooting of 12-year-old Tamir Rice in Cleveland, says Schweikert, was especially striking. Rice, playing with a realistic-looking pellet gun, was shot dead by an officer just 2 seconds after he arrived on the scene.
I think it's shocking, that case in particular, because as I recall, there wasn't even an attempt to secure criminal charges in that case.
Even when charges are secured, officers are seldomly convicted. Juries and courts are reluctant to second-guess the split-second life-or-death decisions of police officers in potentially dangerous situations. According to a statistical analysis by Bowling Green State University, since 2005, 138 police officers were arrested for shooting and killing someone while on duty. While 44 were convicted of a crime, most were for lesser offenses. Only 7 were convicted of murder.
About 1,000 times each year, an on-duty police officer shoots and kills someone. And it's actually a very rare event that an officer is charged with murder or manslaughter resulting from one of those shootings.
A rare event that will soon begin inside a Minneapolis courtroom. The question, say many, is whether the Chauvin trial results in an exception or a rule. I'm Usha Qureshi reporting.